Now this is what I call a dedicated mover. I can't wait for the first crosswind to come by. We're at our garage and chop shop. I'm not supposed to say that. Let's go inside and see what we're driving today. Looks like we've got ourselves a nice shiny black Subaru. And after reading the emblems, looks like we've got the Outback version. Pretty decent looking from the rear. And they shipped it all the way from Illinois just for us. So let's take it outside and get a closer look. If you want to choose gears manually, there are paddle shifters on the steering wheel, where they belong, not on the steering column like the Italians do, where they do not belong. In 148 miles of mixed commuting, I've been getting 25 mpg. In freeway driving today, 27.6. More driving to come, so don't go away. As we do in all of my videos, we're going to take these headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. And we'll do that right now. Okay, it's dark enough. Let's see what these headlights do in the dark. We've got the headlights on a building 100 feet away. Nice and bright. High beams. Nice and bright. Here we have the headlights on a building 300 feet away. Again, nice and bright. Good height, good spread. Certainly no complaints here. Good low beam. Barely reaches out. Overall, nice headlights, no complaints at all. By the way, the headlights do swivel with the steering wheel. A nice feature to have. Especially when taking corners. Before we get into the vehicle test itself, the Subaru has some odd features that you may like or dislike. Let's just get those out of the way right at the beginning, save a lot of time. Let's take a look at the rear electric door. On the positive side, it opens in a hurry. No complaint there. Unfortunately, you can't override the automatic system and operate the door manually. Now, for most soccer moms, it might not be an issue. They might open it once a day, twice a day. If you're out camping, a lot of Subaru owners take these out camping, opening the door on and off all night. Good way to run your battery down or burn up the motor. Why is there no disconnect button? I don't get it. Will any people care? Most probably not, but it's something you need to know about. There is a button down here that says off for the rear gate, but I found out it doesn't turn the power off, it just turns off the hands-free operation. Again, no way to disconnect the power system. If the power goes off, there is a way to open the rear hatch manually in an emergency, but not for everyday operation, unfortunately. The Subaru has a lot of so-called safety features, automatic braking, lane assist, pedestrian warning, blah, blah, blah. I don't want that high-tech junk, so I disconnect everything. It's good to know you can. Here's the problem when you disconnect the electronic nannies. You get a bunch of orange warning lights on the instrument panel. Here I have 5, even brighter in the dark. And they're the same color as all the other warning lights, like check engine, low tire pressure. If I'm ignoring these, chances are I'll be ignoring others. This is not a good idea. These should be a different color, even located somewhere else. And at night they really stand out. What were they thinking? Here's what I'm talking about. Here's the check engine light, the most important warning in the whole system. Can you really tell the difference? And if you're ignoring the top 2, You think you'll ever notice this? Again, a bad idea. And last but not least, the Subaru, like many vehicles nowadays, has the start-stop system. How that works, you pull up to a stoplight or halt the vehicle in traffic, the engine shuts off, and in order to save fuel, you touch the gas pedal to move, it starts up again. If you live in a heavy traffic area like Los Angeles, where it takes a half an hour to go 5 miles on the freeway, you might save fuel. In other locales where the traffic's not that bad, you're really not going to save too much. You're just wearing out the engine every time you come to a red light. Most people find the system very annoying. That's why you have a button to turn it off on most vehicles. On this Subaru, there is a way to turn off the start-stop system, but you won't do it by simply pressing a button. It's a little more complicated. Step number 1. Step number 2. Step number 3. Step number 4. Come on, where is it? Step number 5. Which shouldn't be an issue, except you have to go through this every time you restart the vehicle. I really don't want to do that, do you? What were they thinking? There is a way to override the start-stop temporarily if you're at a red light. Right now the engine's off. Just keep your left foot on the brake, tap the gas pedal with your right, and the engine will not shut off until next time you stop. At least you have the engine running. That's the best you're going to get. Unless you want to go through all that procedure over here. Now, while these annoying quirks I just mentioned bother me, it doesn't mean they have to bother you. In fact, I think the majority of Subaru owners probably won't even notice. And I'll probably get some emails from people telling me I'm bitching too much or I hate Subaru. Not true. When you're doing a car test, you're doing it right. You have to show the good and the bad and the odd stuff, and that's what we're doing here. So, to find more good stuff, let's look at the cabin. Very well made, good materials and workmanship. No complaints there. The glove box is large enough if you take out that monster-sized owner's manual. The instrument panel is well designed, has lots of useful information on the info pod in between. There's a bit of glare from the plastic cover at certain angles of the sun, but nothing to really worry about. The buttons on the steering wheel are large enough, even when wearing gloves. The infotainment system takes some practice, but okay once you get used to it. The screen size is large enough. The electric power steering is a bit too light for me, not much feeler feedback, but I think the typical Subaru owner really won't care. It's responsive enough. As we do in all my videos, we're going to take some mild speed bumps at 20 miles per hour, evaluate the suspension performance on impact. Here comes bump number 1. Very smooth. Didn't hear a thing, didn't feel a thing. Number 2. This is a very smooth riding vehicle. Number 3. Here comes the nasty one. Amazing, didn't feel a thing. They did a very good job on this one. We've got a super nasty speed bump I never use. It's pretty rough. I'm going to take it at 15 miles per hour. Just to see what happens. Wow. Didn't feel a thing. Like I said, someone at Subaru did a very good job on this suspension design. One of the best I've ever used. Let's try the turning circle. See if we can spin this out. With a good weight distribution and all-wheel drive, I don't think that's going to happen. Some good body lean, but a bit of tire squealing. Doing very good here. Impressive again. This is a strong engine, but with a weight of 3,700 pounds, all-wheel drive, and a CVT automatic, there's some disadvantages here. Let's hit the gas. Takes a while to get going. Adequate enough. Strong brakes. We're going to take this Subaru on a long highway trip, see if we can bump up the fuel economy numbers a bit. If you're in the habit of taking freeway trips, you'll really like this vehicle. It's smooth, quiet. Again, a superb suspension, excellent driving position, good stability at high speeds, even with these nasty crosswinds. Plus, I don't have to deal with that horrible start-stop system like I did in city traffic. So, we're going to rack up about 150 miles, and we'll pull over and see what the numbers say. We just got off the freeway. We'll pull over and see what the fuel economy figure says. We drove 138 miles. Lots of passing and crosswinds, by the way. There's a booklet in the glove box you need to read, but of course if you don't have a Subaru you can't read it. So I'm going to give you a rundown. It's called Eyesight Driver Assist Technology, which this vehicle has. And the way it works is very simple. You see that little red dot, which looks pink on the camera. There's a secret camera in there that watches your face, your eyeballs, your whole head. And if your eyes are looking this way and that way, your head's looking up and down, a warning comes up on the panel telling you you're not paying attention. But it goes further than that. In addition to this little camera, there's a system called facial recognition. You program it to recognize your face. Every time you get in the car, it knows you are driving, how you like the mirrors, how you like the seats, how you are driving, etc. Some people like this technology. Me, I have a better idea about this. The first is to go into the system and turn all this nonsense off. Since these disconnect modes have a way of reactivating themselves at times, I have a better solution. Just block the system off altogether. Problem solved. I know there's some high-tech gurus out there watching, and you're going to send me some emails about my little comments on the system. Feel free, put them in the comment section. I'll be waiting. In the meantime, let's go to some other features in the Subaru that I find more useful. This Subaru does have enough ground clearance to go off-roading if you want. As you can see, but that front nose hangs over quite a bit, so you got to be careful when entering dips. And the all-wheel drive system offers pretty good traction in soft sand, as we will be going into a little bit later. Overall, a great vehicle for off-roading for light-duty use. If you do a lot of camping or remote areas, this Subaru just might work for you. So what's my take on the Subaru Outback after a week of driving? Look, I like this vehicle. It's got a nice strong engine, fantastic suspension, a quality interior, decent fuel economy. I could go on and on with the list. There's only one question. Does the engine start-stop system bother you? If not, you're good to go. If it does, not being able to turn it off, and you really can't, might be an issue. That's a decision you'll have to make. Otherwise, a nice quality vehicle at a reasonable price. Here's some links to other vehicles we've driven. Just click and watch.